Enigma jungle. We have seen that before. I think when you run a very greedy lineup like this, like having Enigma and Nature's Prophet as supports, or even one of them is core with the other as a support, it's really greedy. I have to say. I mean, Enigma really wants a lot to get going. He wants a lot of EXP. He wants a lot of early gold to be effective. So all of these heroes really require a fair bit to come online. I think we're probably going to see. I want to say offlane Enigma rotating Nature's Prophet, Ember Spirit in the safe, and TA in the mid. That's probably how the lanes will look. If not, we'll have a jungle Enigma, a different offlaner, and a roaming Nature's Prophet. But I'm not sure about that one. Again, there's some flexibility here for Mineski. I just don't like the results of that flexibility. It just feels really heavy-handed and greedy. Like, if Fnatic pushes the aggression early on, it's going to be very hard for all of these heroes to bounce back at once.
Well, final banouts now, John. They are out. The Night Stalker and the OD are gone. Final pickups, Mineski. Plenty of reserve time for both teams if they do want to start using it, but I imagine Fnatic's probably just going to choose their last hero quite fast. Mineski, however, I'm looking forward to this pick because I'm really trying to understand what the draft's going to look like here for Mineski. I have to wait just a bit longer to see how they're going to finish this off. It does feel like they're lacking a bit of lockdown on the side. Like, I realize the Dire End, they do have the Enigma. Obviously, get a big black hole, and that's all the lockdown you need. But apart from that, you've got the Ember Spirit chains, and I guess you've got a Sprout, but there's no real reliable stun or anything like that for the early to mid game.
Yeah, it's mildly worrisome. Again, I'm really not sure what you can fit into this lineup. It just feels extremely greedy, and almost feels like they've trapped themselves in a corner here. They do end up with the Earth Spirit, which again, it's got great mobility. It's got a really great kit, really powerful in the right hands. We've seen it come in and out in every meta, and it always has a spot in most drafts. We've seen it to great effect, of course, the past few months. I'm not too sure how to feel about it in this draft, I have to tell you, Mike. Not only are you running it with, being pretty much the sole initiator for Mineski with a good stun from afar, for now, like a hard stun. You're also playing it against a Rubik, who can probably steal bits and pieces of your kit as well. So it seems a bit worrisome for Mineski, this kind of lineup. It still feels very greedy compared to Fnatic's, where you have clearly defined supports that can take a good shafting and sacrifice themselves for their cores. And in Mineski's side, it just feels like everyone needs a little bit of something to be effective. And it worries me if they lose momentum in the early game. It's going to be very hard to share that space that comes out if Fnatic just takes over. On the other hand, if Mineski does find a good pace, it's going to be very easy for them to snowball into the late game because they have a lot of great spells, a lot of AoE control, great team fight, great push. But they have to last in that early game, Mike.
Well, that is a very good point, John. I suppose it's a better way to phrase it is it's a high risk, high reward kind of deal for Mineski right now. Certainly so, like you mentioned, if they get the momentum early, if they get the farm, they're going to be fine. They're probably going to just roll all over Fnatic. Otherwise, Fnatic's probably not going to have too hard of a game, but at the very least, with these heroes that they have picked up, it's going to be a very entertaining game for us and the viewers, so we're getting what we want, John, which is the most important, isn't it?
Definitely so, Mike. As long as it's fun to watch in the end, nothing else really matters. They do close out with the Monkey King on Fnatic side, and I think that's an excellent pick. Great wave clear, great team fight, quite durable. Has some really good mobility as long as you're not caught out in a tree. I think this is going to be really fun to watch. I have to say, I do like Fnatic's draft a bit more. I like the flexibility of it. I like the fact that they're not overly reliant on all three cores having farm along with one of their supports. Here you could definitely afford to have Winter Wyvern take the short end of the stick. Pangolier doesn't need too much to get online. You can definitely buy enough space for MT to just farm up. On Mineski's side, again, it's very high risk, as you mentioned, but also very high reward. If they can last in that early game long enough, if they can survive that first 15 minutes without bleeding out too much space, they can definitely get themselves going, and it gets pretty scary. but it's also very hard to do that. Well, we'll see if Mineski can pull it off. Of course, they are a pretty darn good team with a lot of pedigree behind them, so it wouldn't be surprising if they can, Mike.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I will agree with you, though, on that Monkey King last pick. It's just one of those heroes where it doesn't need anything to get started, and it really does stop a lot of momentum with the opposing team if it does get what it wants in that laning stage. To make matters worse, they've given it to Arbed as well, which, I mean, we've seen Arbed play. He's a fantastic mid player. He's going to be up against Moon on that TA, which isn't the easiest matchup in the world because of that refraction, but it's also not going to be the hardest. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that mid lane, see how Moon does up against Arbed this time around. Of course, we should keep a very close eye on Ninja Boogie and Raging Potato because they've gone for that kind of semi-global strat with the Nature's Prophet and that Earth Spirit. They can really be across the map rather fast with both these heroes. Can go for some pretty successful surprise ganks. KP, it does look like he will be playing that position 3 Enigma.
Wonderful.
So fair enough, they have put him on that core role. They want to make sure he hits those black holes and he gets all the items he needs to be able to do that, and that's perfectly understandable. Well, it's going to be exciting, John. It's going to be a very fun game, I'm sure. Probably more fun than the last game, which did get a bit slow in the middle of that last game, but this one, I have a feeling it's going to be a lot faster paced.
Definitely so. I'm really keen to see how these lanes go again. If Mineski bleeds out too much space, it gets very hard for them to really get much of anything done by the mid-game. So we're going to have to watch Moon. I think that's one key thing. As long as Moon gets a good time, gets his stacks going in the jungle, he's going to be able to control that momentum in that mid-game to late game, of course. If he drops down just a bit, it gets really hard. Again, you're going to have to share that jungle space with the Enigma. You're going to have to share that jungle space with Odd Shit if things don't go well in that top lane. And it just gets really tight. It gets very hard to find farm in that case. So Moon will have to have a good time in lane. I wouldn't be surprised if they just have Raging Potato sit in mid lane at some point just to make sure he gets good farm.
Of course, we should give a little shout out to Valve on the Rubik Arcana, John. It is fantastic. In fact, it's pretty much the only Arcana I've ever bought on Dota 2. I've been playing for a very long time, but it is a fantastic cosmetic to have. Raging Potato bot lane. Gonna find himself in trouble very early on. Is he actually gonna die here? He doesn't have the role for quite a while, but MP does not really want to go any further. He'd have the Orb of Venom available on the bear, and he was slowing him down quite successfully, but doesn't want to risk anything, which is perfectly fair enough.
Again, I think it kind of hurts more to waste that much regen with no payoff. So Raging Potato is probably going to start losing much of his tangos as the game goes on, and that just reduces how much he can trade in the laning phase.
Meanwhile, mid lane, we do have a very early Jingu Master being procced on Arbed. Of course, we do have Jabs actually there in the back lines. It looks like he's just going to be waiting for the courier to come out. So they are going to focus a lot on making sure Moon, he can't bring out those regen items early on, assuming they can get that courier in time. We're going to have to wait and see for that one, because it isn't coming out with anything quite yet. Although, they actually have gone on to Moon, but he'll be alright. TP rotation being cancelled off as well. The Moon is getting very, very low, and he actually only has one shared tango, but it's on cooldown for a while. So he's hoping that courier makes it to him without actually getting killed off.
Yeah, it's not a very pleasant start when you are down to your last bits of regen. He does have to ferry out a salve as well, which almost reminds me of the last game. How much regen was expended on that mid lane just to trade with Abed. It gets very costly, so I feel like some emphasis has to be given by Mineski towards Moon's mid lane. Again, very pivotal for the momentum of this game.
That's one of the things that Arbed's well known for, is being a very, very aggressive mid laner. Loves to trade harassment. As you can see, he's just doing it all over again. Well, it looks like they will actually rotate in jabs, and they are going to try and dish out some more harassment onto Moon. And Moon, I mean, he used that salve before. He'll have to rely on the tangos for now. Certainly, if this continues to happen, it's not going to be a very easy game at all for this TA. You can already see that courier, John. Another salve coming out. So this is the second one of the game that he's had to buy, and we're only 2 minutes in.
Yeah, it's pretty much the story of the last game as well. Again, just Moon having to cop a somewhat unfavorable mid lane, just the aggression coming out from Abed and the resources being poured in by Fnatic. I mean, Jabs has pretty much been stuck in this mid lane since minute 0, so...
Well, here we go again. Moon being slowed down. The Orb of Venom will take care of the refraction. In fact, I think Moon's just dead here. He tries to turn around and fight. He realized he couldn't get out of that one. And Abed will claim the first blood of the game quite easily for himself at the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, again, nice clean first blood coming out for Fnatic. I don't think it's too surprising considering how this lane has been going. It takes a while for the TA to truly be a threat. Sure, Monkey King does not have great armor, so it's very easy to harass him out, but you still have to watch out for reaching into range if Monkey King, like just like that, he's back to full HP. And Moon just respawned, he's back to a quarter.
We'll commit that salve now. Abed being very, very annoying on this Monkey King. Just that Orb of Venom, ticking down that refraction, and look at Abed, look at the positioning. He can just stand behind the tier 1 tower with his creep wave, not allowing Moon to even be in XP range. Moon doing the absolute best he can. Nevertheless, in the other lanes, John, you have Arjit doing a pretty darn good job on that Ember Spirit. Currently the top of the last hits board. Ice is doing his best to try and keep him down. But Arjit does appear to be rather successful up in this safe lane. He has, of course, also had the support of Ninja Boogie here and there. And it does appear to be paying off.
Definitely so. I don't think the Pangolier can do too much against that Ember. It is a bit costly to try to trade blows with him. Ember can shove a wave quite nicely as well. Although it does look like Ajit did go for the chains and sleight of fist build, so not too much lane shoving coming out from him, but a decent amount of lockdown. You really have to watch your step. If you step a bit too far, you get lifted up, you get chained up. You could potentially die or lose a lot of HP, so I can understand
well, I think
how the passive is coming out here.
Moon mid lane cannot... There's just nothing you can do about that. Like, Jabs keeps rotating in, keeps using that Splinter Blast to slow him down, and well, Abed, he's just able to right-click with that Orb of Venom and just take him out. Just way too much slow to deal with for this TA. And the rotations, they're just not making it there in time to help him out.
It's kind of surprising that Mineski really hasn't given too much towards Moon. He's forced to jungle now at level 4. Abed full level ahead, probably going to hit 6 at an earlier time as well. Not good news, especially for a hero, again, that's very tempo-oriented, such as the TA. It's not looking like a good game for Moon to start off with. We've seen him bounce back before on really tempo-sensitive heroes such as the Ember in the last game, so we should watch out if he can do that again. If he gets enough space, of course, he's still going to be effective, but this is not the ideal start for any TA.
But this does go back to the drafting phase that we talked about, right? Like, they have a very greedy draft on the side of the Dire. And it does mean that you may not necessarily be able to keep a hero there with the TA to make sure he's safe. Essentially, he's been left to be a sitting duck for Abed. Jabs can afford to move over and help him out every 2 seconds. But the side of Mineski, they don't really have that option with this draft.
Yeah, I thought Raging Potato would be a bit more active in that mid lane. I think the side lanes can definitely fend for themselves. It's definitely the mid lane that gets really hurt by this kind of exchange. Not even TP rotations coming out from Ninja Boogie, which is mildly surprising. It's just a very passive game coming out from Mineski, which I guess it does make sense with context of the greed that they have, that they don't want to take risks. At the same time, they definitely are sacrificing something that I feel is going to be their main point as we approach the mid-game.
Well, Raging Potato is now the one in trouble, although he does have the ability to roll away, and he will do so. Very low on HP. We'll make it out. Meanwhile, top lane. Looks like Ice doing a good job against Arjit, keeping him low in that laning phase and very close to death. While KP also falling rather low himself in the lane. And I mean, at this stage, Fnatic, it almost looks like they've... In fact, they have won every single lane. The off lane for Fnatic is kind of just even. I wouldn't go as far as saying Arjit's lost the lane at all, because he definitely hasn't. But Ice certainly has been able to do whatever he's pretty much wanted, getting quite a bit of farm on that Pangolier. and is going to really be a force to be reckoned with, John. He's going to have a Maelstrom very, very early on this Pango.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty fast timing on that Maelstrom, which is really what you want to see. It definitely bumps your damage up by quite a fair bit. If you take a look at what Mineski's doing now, you already see the 3 heroes in the jungle. We saw Moon and Wildgo farming that large camp. We see Ninja Bogey just farming up what he can in the rest of the camps, and AP also just farming that side camp over here. So it's a rough time, and it's really easy to feed all that gold away to someone like Abed.
Yeah, he just comes in, just uses the Boundless Strike, and all the Eidolons go down to him. Bot lane. Looks like MP does find himself in a spot of bother. They don't have the black hole, but this will be a very nice kill. Savage Roll will come out from the Spirit Bear and will save the day for the moment. MP as well dodging the roll from the Earth Spirit. MP though still being chased down, but the root is there from MP's Spirit Bear.
Oh, come on.
Sometimes Lady
Really
Luck
important.
is nice to you, John. And Abed, meanwhile, top lane, almost finds Arjit. The Arjit with the chains does manage to survive just long enough, is able to walk away with his life intact.
They're still chasing. They're still chasing MP.
Well, he's shrined up now, John. I mean, there's no point of that. It's full HP.
That was really unfortunate. They really needed that kill, I feel, on MP, because he's had way too free of a run here. Not even close. KP not finding as much farm in this lane for sure. He's had to rotate in the jungle much more, so he's not been applying as much pressure in this tower. And again, it's just very hard for Mineski's lineup to get the shared farm going. You can see it in the network graph as well. It's 3k lead for Fnatic at 9 minutes in.
Absolutely, and now KP gonna find himself in trouble. The root will be there from the bear, and here comes Abed going straight after Ninja Boogie. Can he find him? Probably can. He's way too slow to run away, and Abed will claim that kill for himself. Meanwhile, we did see MP managing to find KP on that Enigma, and that will make it a 4-0 at the 9.5 minute mark.
Yeah, again, very clean ganks coming out here from Fnatic, and that's really what you want to see from this kind of lineup. Again, just sort of active early on. You can't afford to do that. Not all of your cores are too reliant on farm. I think the biggest one is really just MP's Lone Druid. It requires a lot to come in line. Even then, he's been doing a fairly good job of being active in these exchanges.
They're gonna go again. Rage Potato can roll away, but just holding on for the moment though. Abed! Boundless Strike was on point, but I don't think they realized he hit it. Jabs now does. Gonna make the chase, but the Splinter Blast, there was no creeps around to use it with. They give up on the chase. I think Abed really thought he missed that one there.
I think it might have been a fog issue, because that was definitely uphill. So he didn't quite see it, which is unfortunate. Really unfortunate. I thought he would tree jump up, but, you know, it didn't quite happen. If he did, that would have been a very easy kill. Not the most crucial kill, mind you. I mean, it's unfortunate you didn't get it, but at the very least, you know, it's not a big target that you missed out on.
Absolutely. Back to the safe lane of the Dire. Arjit still doing a fairly good job. Has fallen slightly behind in terms of net worth, but that is because Abed's just roaming the map finding kills right now. Of course, MP has just been left to his own devices in his own safe lane. So, with the Spirit Bear as well, it's super easy to jungle as that Lone Druid, in case you do have a hard laning phase. Looks like MP will just go to that jungle and just enjoy that for a bit. Meanwhile, we do see Ninja Boogie sitting in the same jungle trying to get some farm and XP of his own. Has hit that level 6 mark as well. This could mean that Mineski start to get slightly more aggressive. So, bot lane, KB, gonna get rolled on by Ice Ice Ice. He's pretty much a sitting duck here. The bear probably gonna get a root soon, but even if it doesn't, they kill him off anyway thanks to Ice Ice Ice's roll. DJ will take the Midnight Pulse for himself. That'll make it a 5-0.
Yeah, again, just really good aggression coming out from Fnatic. They know when to take these sort of fights. They know that, you know, no one's probably going to be at the back line. So a nice, free, easy kill. Again, good movement coming out from Ice Ice. These guys are really not scared to stop farming right now. You've seen these cores be active. Even, you know, Abed has been active quite a fair bit. It's really been MP that's just been farm festing, but when there's aggression on his lane, he's usually there for the fight. So Fnatic is taking that initiative, and I'm surprised we haven't seen more from Mineski. Not with the Earth Spirit and Nature's Prophet, which can initiate from very far away. Just not that kind of aggression coming out right now from this lineup.
I feel like they probably can't afford to. It's just every lane's kind of gone Fnatic's way. I feel like they're doing what they can right now, which is probably just getting as much farm up as they can, John. I mean, there's not much more they can do. I agree with your point, but they're just sitting back and, again, trying to get those core items up. KP, he's got that Helm of Dominator, but doesn't have any boots, doesn't have a blink, doesn't have a mech. Definitely needs to get a few more up there. In fact, his net worth not looking very pretty right now. Meanwhile, Ajit does pick up a drums, which does signal some kind of aggression, and they do smoke up. Fnatic also have smoked up as well, and they are going towards that top tier 1 tower, where they're hoping that the side of Mineski will go for a defense. But they do get scanned out on the side of Fnatic. Now Ajit moving in through the backline. Still, the smoke exists. Tier 1 tower has gone down thanks to MP. Ajit will remnant away, though he is in a spot of bother. Ice will get a nice start off with the roll. Now the Savage Roar as well, keeping Raging Potato there. Ajit will try and chase MP, who's the much easier target, and looks like he will find him. The bear does come in, but it won't be successful in helping out. Meanwhile, Jabs has been left alone as well, and it looks like that'll be 2 kills perhaps going to the way of Mineski, although they are going to lose Ninja Boogie in the process. Just a split second more, and they may have saved him if it was a couple seconds earlier, but that Winter's Curse lasting just long enough. Nevertheless, John, that is 2 very important kills for the side of Mineski, and that's going to help them a hell of a lot.
Yeah, that kill on MP is massive. Just slowing down that Living Druid is a very big deal, and this is exactly what we want to see from Mineski. We want to see the global presence of that MP play a part. We want to see that initiation coming out from Raging Potato's Earth Spirit. You want to see that kind of aggression, because all these heroes really need a good snowbally start. So a few more of that should pretty much even up the board. It's not a massive lead for Fnatic at this point. 14 minutes in, 3k, 6-2. It's definitely something that is easy enough to repair, and all of those kills should make up for your, a bit of lag in your itemization. I feel we need to see a smoke come out at some point.
They're going to go after Arbit. Ninja Boogie is going to get jumped on. Now, what does he steal? He stole the ultimate of the Prophet and turns it around on him. Arbit, of course, claiming a very quick kill for himself. Ajit try and harass Arbit a bit and just get the bounty rune for himself. Raging Potato actually finding Ice at the bot lane. Was there with KP. No Black Hole committed for that. It looks like it was just the Midnight Pulse with the Malefice. So they do find another nice core kill onto the side of Mineski. Still remaining within this early game for themselves. And I'm kind of impressed by Mineski, honestly, John. Right, because you'd expect the TA to be the aggressor throughout this stage of the game, but because Moon had a real difficult time against Arbit, they've adjusted really quickly, and they're allowing Ajit to do that job for him instead.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart move to make, considering just how far behind Venus, as you mentioned. They are trying to get a push going, but... Oh.
Yeah, Raging Potato getting chased down. Meanwhile, Ninja Boogie still in trouble, and now Ice finds the perfect roll and just rips them apart. A double kill for the Pangolier. That was just a perfect lineup for him. Would have absolutely loved that with the swashbuckle.
Yeah, again, just really good movement coming out from Fnatic. The plus side for Mineski is that all the heroes that have been dying have been their supports. Right? It's not the biggest loss in the world. You are kind of buying space for your cores to farm up. So if you are Fnatic, this is not really too bad of a thing to happen. I mean, you're still finding space for Moon. He has been farming up quite well, working towards that Desolator first, and it is going to be up in a fairly good time. You've got KP, who still has his Black Hole, has a Midas up now, so he's going to be able to accelerate his farm by a significant amount. And overall, I think Mineski's in a good spot to climb back into this game. Fnatic definitely has to try to exploit that, try to find these heroes farming alone, because right now they've just been really picking off the supports, which it was great as a source of rule earlier on. Right now, it's almost feeling like a waste of time.
Yeah. Size. Should go down to the bot lane where there is a bit of trouble. Jabs will get the Winter's Curse off. Doing a lot of damage with that thanks to Moon, but he is actually delaying it long enough for Ice to join. They have lost the Winter Wyvern, however. KP, will he commit the black hole? There is DJ there waiting for him to use it, and he will not so far. Boundless Strike did actually miss, so a nice juke coming out from him, and they somehow managed to get away without actually losing anybody on the side of the Dire.
Yeah, that's a fairly clean exchange. They managed to hold on to the black hole as well, so I do like that conservatism coming out from KP. Not pressured to just press R and try to make a big play, understanding that the circumstances for a good black hole are very, very hard to reach, especially with DJ's Rubik around. So I do like that coming out from Mineski. Just the patience that they have. Just finding these kills when they can and going back to farming. I think it's very smart of them, and they are working this draft quite well now. It looked rough in the laning phase, and, you know, they still kind of lack map control. But their farm is building up, and if that does build up to at least parity with Fnatic, it's kind of scary to play against.
They're going to jump in top lane, although Abed, he gets his tree knocked down, so he couldn't actually initiate. It allowed Arjit to get the hell out of there. A nice play from Raging Potato to make sure that tree did not survive. Gotta say as well, DJ, we didn't quite mention this yet, John, but he got a very early Blink Dagger on that Rubik, so you know his mind is completely set on KP. Of course, why the hell not if you are playing a Rubik up against an Enigma. However, there will be a smoke from the side of Mineski. They're going to try and take advantage of the fact that Fnatic got nothing out of that previous smoke attempt from themselves. Although I've got to say there's no easy targets for them right now showing up on the map. So they're going to try for Ice, but he's already in a position ready to go, and they are going to get started, but the roll does not connect on anybody. Ice, he will find his roll onto the Earth Spirit, and it looks like Raging Potato is just going to have to go to sleep for a moment. At the very least, they do get the Ember out of there, but unfortunately for Mineski, that is an unsuccessful smoke rotation.
Yeah, it's, again, not the biggest loss because you only lose your support, which is pretty much a story of Mineski's past 10 to 15 minutes, just always losing your two supports. But they did expend a smoke, and again, those are pretty finite resources that have a timer on them, so not the best use of that, I have to say. Quite keen to just have two people.
Top lane, Abed almost takes Ajit out. Didn't have the Boundless Strike available, so couldn't really finish him off, and he does manage to remove himself out of that situation. MP, he did manage to finish that Radiance off, by the way, about 20 seconds ago. You have that Radiance burn on the Spirit Bear now, ready to go. So expect the split push, expect the farm to escalate for MP. Overall, escalate for the side of Fnatic, who are leading this game just by about 2k net worth right now.
It almost feels like a last game in terms of how, you know, the game's tempo just changes at each phase. Early game is kind of fast, slows down by the mid game, and then just one team fight, that's all it takes by the late game to decide this game. It does feel like we are going down that same path, Mike. Just a bit of a slowdown here in the mid game. Both teams just building up, and maybe we will see one big team fight breakout that decides the fate of this match.
Well, speaking of team fight, John, MP, he's currently trying to bait the side of Mineski to go for a team fight right now, although the smoke was there, and they will get started on Ninja Boogie, but he does manage to run out. Nice chains is there on Abed, and now the roll comes in from Ice, stopping Moon from doing anything and just holding them in place. And now the Wukong's command as well. Ice gets the kill as well as Abed going down from Arjit. Now they may lose the Ember, and they will. MP will claim that on his own. Meanwhile, Moon, he does manage to get jabs, and the buybacks are coming through from the Ember. Moon with a nice side blades, and he will manage to find the Spirit Bear. Overall, it looked like a very, very even matchup in that team fight. It did go the way, however, of Mineski. It was actually a 3-for-2 trade. However, there was a buyback coming out from that Ember, and they are going to try and make as much out of it as they can. They are going to go straight to the Roche Pit.
I do like that very fast buyback coming from Ajit. He just knew that with that buyback he could clean up the kills, and there's just some pretty pivotal kills to take out. You know, taking out Abed was fairly big. I think that's the biggest target he could have hoped for. And just taking that, you know, swings the game back to their direction. Now fairly even, less than 1k lead for Fnatic, 12-7 at 22 minutes in. It's anyone's match now again, Mike. The one issue Mineski has is that map control. They haven't cleared out too many of these tier 1s yet, but beyond that, they've definitely kept their pace with farm. They've held their own in the early game, so this mid game now is their time to shine. We still haven't seen a big black hole come out.
We haven't
seen,
seen,
mind you, from KP.
We haven't seen one at all, John. We haven't seen one this game, but you can understand that. I mean, you mentioned it before, right? As an Enigma, you got to play conservative when there's a Rubik in game, and there it is. Speaking of the devil, it does come out, but DJ's stolen it. Takes it straight away, and now we'll use it against them. Nice Winter's Curse, but it's actually going to stop the black hole being really effective. And now DJ actually going to end up losing his life, and it turns out the black hole still wasn't that great to begin with. Fnatic will lose 2 heroes. Mineski going to be very, very happy with that.
The pings are coming out onto jabs. Rather unfortunate. Like, I don't think he expected the black hole to be dropped there. So it really played against that black hole combination come out. If it was staggered a bit better, that might have been a kill in at least one, but it didn't quite happen that way. Really unfortunate for Fnatic, but again, that is why you do watch out for that black hole usage.
I mean, John, they've put Mineski back in the driver's seat here. I mean, they had the game in their hands, but Mineski, they've currently got a 2k net worth lead now, and you look at Moon, he was top of the net worth board. After that laning stage against Arbed, he's sitting at the top. Deso is up, as well as the Dragonlance, holding onto that Aegis, and I believe he had a BKB coming out on the Courier, and he did indeed. There it is. It will finally come out. Meanwhile, MP, he sent his Spirit Bear into the back lines, but Mineski want to go and take that out right here, right now. But they've got to try and chase it a bit further. It looks like MP will probably be able to get it out of there. Just going to keep it running and split pushing so they can't get anything else out of this momentum that Mineski had just gained. Still though, back to Moon. That is very impressive how he's made it back to the top of the net worth board.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of time bought out by his teammates. He was really inactive for a lot of that. He was just jungling up, farming safely where he could. And it has paid off quite a fair bit for Mineski. Again, he has climbed back on top. His itemization is quite good. I think the one thing he just lacks is a Blink Dagger, and after that, he's really all set to just tear into Fnatic when he can.
Speaking of Blink, KP did manage to pick up a Blink Dagger about 5 minutes ago. He's going straight into the Refresher Orb jump. Just completely relying on that black hole usage. Making sure that if DJ steals it, he can just throw out another one straight off the bat. Looks like there will be an engagement, however. Ice copying a bit of damage, but MP Spirit Bear will take the Bounty Rune. Meanwhile, in the back lines, looks like Ninja Boogie getting caught out, and now Raging Potato may end up falling, copying a lot of damage, and he will go down. Fnatic currently having 2 on the side of Mineski down. They will buy back on jabs on that Winter Wyvern, and it looks like that will be the end of the team fight. They'll just clear up some Eidolons, clear up some dominated creeps from KP. Mineski do not want to have anything else to do with this engagement.
Yeah, that's a fair enough call to make. You do have a black hole up, but without your 2 supports, I think it's going to be kind of iffy going into a 5 versus 3, unless you land that massive black hole, which is a really tall order. Again, it's always hard to get that massive 5-man black hole. It's especially hard if you're playing against a Rubik on the level of someone like DJ. So it's a lot of risk for very little reward. I think it's a safe play for Mineski to have pulled back there. They're going to have to give up this tier 2 though, I feel. Unless Fnatic themselves don't feel too confident.
Look at all these traps they've got laid down, John. I mean, Moon is just setting up a line of traps for those creep waves. Trying to stop MP from being able to split push with the Spirit Bear. Doing a fairly good job of it too. I'm shocked to say that the tier 2 is still standing up there. Moon currently solo defending that tier 2 tower. Still does hold the Aegis, mind you, so going to be feeling very confident. Meanwhile, Moon is finding himself taking out DJ's traps, which were stolen by the Rubik. Looks like they aren't really going to back off too much off that tier 2 top tower. They'll leave Ice to try and take care of the rest of the job. But Moon does not plan to allow that to happen. Aegis, however, does expire. Moon understanding Ice is in the tree line, but can't quite find him. Meanwhile, bot tier 2 is going down. Mineski, again, not willing to risk anything right now. They will just deal a bit of chip damage and they will back off to safety.
we do have some massive items coming out right now for Fnatic. We have the Satanic up for Abed, and I believe that was there was a BKB probably flying out.
Yeah, it was actually for the Ember Spirit
coming out. Yeah, we have a BKB coming out for the Ember as well. So some big items coming out for both teams now. It has been a while since we've seen a massive 5v5 again. I don't think either side is keen on forcing that issue. I think Mineski definitely has the upper hand if they initiate properly, but they're probably waiting on that refresh orb coming out from KP. So that's probably going to be the key item before we see the next breakout here. I think that's what Mineski's waiting on, really. Just have that double black hole up and available to turn these team fights for their favor.
As you spoke about it, John, he literally just bought out for it. Has the recipe sitting in the courier, and it is on the way. So double black hole is now online for KP. They're going to definitely want to try and get some surprise initiation with that. 4k net worth advantage as well now for the side of Mineski. They do smoke up immediately after KP receive it. Thing is as well, you've got to try and make sure DJ's in that black hole. Tough ask. Fnatic gets started. The Rolling Thunder will be there. Ice jumped onto Arbit. Now KP jumps in but does not go for it. That Rolling Thunder was a bit too threatening, and now the Winter's Curse comes out. It is on the Ember, just holding him in place with the Wukong's command. It's a lot of damage coming out from Fnatic. Still, nobody down quite yet. They'll take down KP immediately. Jabs falling low, but Ajit is also falling very low. He'll make a run for it. Meanwhile, Raging jumps back in, trying to defend his teammate. He'll roll back out. Actually hits Ice on the way out, and we'll go for a TP play though. DJ will be able to lift him up, and this should just be an easy kill. In fact, he rolls into him as well. Savage Roar will be there. Fnatic, it looks like they do win out on that team fight, and I mean, if there's any one thing to point out, KP was the first one to go down in that team fight as well.
Yeah, they must have seen his refresher orb as well in the inventory if they clicked on him. I think the one thing Mineski actually was aware of, because it was being pinged out. I believe our Winter Wyvern sent out a Splinter Blast, and it did hit the Ember under smoke. So they knew something was up. Fnatic knew something was up. They grouped up by the trees down here at the riverside, and I think they were ready for it. That really explains how that fight went pretty badly for Mineski. They were just ready for that smoke play, all because of the Splinter Blast spam coming out from our Winter Wyvern. And I didn't know it goes through the smoke, but apparently it does. So that really revealed their movement there and really cost Mineski, unfortunately.
One update on items, Moon does manage to pick up an MKB regardless of that last team fight. Doesn't keep himself buyback, I don't believe, but he is short on buyback, but he is still relatively safe. I mean, there's still 3 tier 2 towers on the map for his side. Just wants to be able to take these team fights a bit easier, and definitely they do need a bit more DPS, it seems. So Moon is taking care of that side of things. Jit hasn't really queued up anything right now, so we're not really aware of what he is going for, but I'm sure he will decide on something very soon. What's MP going for right now? Where's his bear? MP got the pipe up, going for the Assault Cuirass next. So a lot of big items on the way for Fnatic. You pointed out before the Satanic was there on Arbed. It looks like he is going to go straight into a Manta style as well. Just needs that ultimate orb, and they are going to smoke up on the side of Fnatic now. 5 heroes making their way up north. Ninja Boogie. Going to be a very easy target to take out if they do choose to run into him, and they will. There's no real way for him to get out of this, and his team probably not going to back him up either. So Arbed will claim himself another kill this game.
Not the worst here to give up for a smoke rotation coming from Mineski again. Just the supports are being sacrificed a bit here, but they're not losing their big team fight players. I think the one thing is, every time this happens, Mineski does pull back and farm up again. And that does allow them to build themselves bigger and bigger. Again, it's coiling the spring up, Mike, and at any moment it could spring up and cause massive problems for either side. It's just one fight away. One big team fight away, and we could see the tier 3s falling down. See a high ground breaking out. We could see the big items coming out, especially Ajit. We're still not sure what exactly he wants to go for. Has a lot he can really work into for his itemization. So the game has slowed down a fair bit, but I think it's in the nature of these two teams as the game progresses. They just kind of slow it down a notch, build up, and get ready for a very big fight at some point.
They will go for a smoke now on the side of Mineski. Again, double black hole still available. Definitely, I mean, KP, he's been wanting to use that for so darn long now, and he's going to try now, but unfortunately for the side of Mineski, their smoke is broken immediately by jabs. Fnatic more than happy to go for a team fight, it seems. In fact, they'll find Raging Potato straight off the bat, and they'll get started, although here comes Arjit. He came in from the side, will Remnant in, trying to get DJ before they use the black hole, but he's not down yet. Meanwhile, the black hole was there in the backlines, and has it been stolen? It looks like it has. DJ actually managed to take the black hole. Arjit, he will find Abed. They are still chasing Arjit. Meanwhile, DJ going to be the target. He threw out the black hole, but he is taken out by Moon. And Fnatic actually losing out on that team fight. It was looking to be pretty good on their end of things, but Mineski, they do just barely hang on. They will get away with it. 3 heroes down and a Roshan is available to be taken.
Yeah, not great news for Fnatic at all, but very well played from Mineski. After having your smoke popped early, still managing to take that team fight is really darn good. I think the one issue for Fnatic right now is that Abed is controlled up way too easily without that BKB. Even with the Satanic up, he did have it up and running. He was just controlled for way too long to really maximize it. So he does die fairly quick when he can't just stand there and bash people up. And I think that's a key issue for Fnatic right now, that their main damage just can't stand up and fight at this moment. He needs to farm up, finish that BKB, and after that, that's when he's probably going to be more comfy in the middle of these fights. At the same time, you know, it's starting to look a bit bad for Fnatic. It's starting to get a bit rough. Mineski can do a lot with the farm they have now. They have a 6k net worth lead, 14 to 17 at 34 minutes in. But, you know, as they build up, all of these heroes scale really well. And the Enigma with that double black hole now is just a massive threat in these team fights. Even though KP doesn't manage to get it off, just having his presence there forces Fnatic to position themselves less than ideally.
Yeah, he's got a BKB now as well on that Enigma, although mid lane Moon gets caught out with the lift and he's been rooted in place. Not really much he can do here. He does have an Aegis, but he will use the BKB early on. Does also have a cheese available in the backpack, and he will drag it out, though the Wukong's command will come out immediately. Can he actually survive this? Moon needs another second, but he won't get it. He does go down. Raging rolls out of there. The Winter's Curse will come out on the Ember. Jit will remnant out as well. Looks like Ice still chasing to find Raging Potato, and they will be able to get him as well. Abed will get the final right click. It's a very unfortunate turn of events. Moon getting caught out, and I think the one little mistake he may have made there is he BKB'd up, hoping to get away from that situation and not lose the Aegis, but once he did lose the Aegis, John, the BKB was no longer available, and he needed about a split second to get that cheese off, because it was dragged out from the backpack, but he didn't have enough time.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a bit optimistic.
Ice. Getting caught out by KP, they will commit the black hole, and well, I can't say that's a bad decision, honestly. Like, Ice is a core Pango. If you can get him off the board for a while, why the hell not? Though they will lose their tier 2 tower in the mid lane, and they may just lose one at the bot lane as well. Abed gonna back off. Not interested in taking any risks here, and Ninja Boogie was split pushing anyway. But the tier 2 has gone down thanks to the siege creeps from the Radiant side. Looks like both teams taking a fair chunk of map control from each other. And ultimately, the side of Fnatic, however, do get one more tower than the side of Mineski. So, I mean, assumedly they have a bit more map control, but in terms of net worth, Mineski is still 4k ahead.
Not a massive lead, but it's enough to really just treat the state of this game. Again, it's fairly even. We're at 36 minutes in. Map control is fairly even. Net worth is fairly even for the most part. Fnatic does have the edge in kills, but Mineski has a slight advantage in actual net worth, so it's a tight game, and
Moon
might just change with Moon.
He got caught out again. He BKBs up and 4-staffs himself out of that one. Will be alright, though top lane, who have they caught out there? MP is sprouted KP. doesn't, or does have the black hole available, but doesn't want to quite throw it out. He doesn't know where DJ is. He leaves Arjit to get the job done, although the cold embrace will be there. Arjit now wanting to back off from Raging Potato, also rolling out, but Ice making the chase. Boundless Strike there as well. Arjit, he will manage to finally get out, or in fact, no, he hasn't, not quite yet. DJ has the lift and can throw it out at any moment, and he will eventually. It looks like they will finally find him, and Raging Potato, for that matter, will also go down on the side of Mineski, or will he? The Fade Bolt will take him by DJ.
That is a massive kill for Fnatic. That kill on Ajit's Ember Spirit is huge. That means they can pretty much push for free with no repercussions, and I believe that will be the last tier 2 going away. Possibly some chip damage on the tier 3s as well, and that's going to be a bit costly for Mineski, as I feel like a lot of their damage output right now and a lot of their gap closing potential is coming out from that Ember Spirit. Not having him up for this high ground defense is probably going to cost them a fair bit.
Well, it's all up to... It almost feels like it's just up to KP to hit that massive black hole at this point. Right, mate, Moon could probably clean it up with the TA. But you see DJ, he's just always waiting, always in the right position, ready to take it off him. There's just no way to catch him out when you're missing 2 heroes. They'll get Raging Potato back on the board now, but Abed has almost finished off that melee Rax. MP Spirit Bear forced to back off just a bit, and now they'll go back in. Moon will get back onto that bear. They do get the melee Rax. They'll lose the Spirit Bear for their trouble, but I think that's well worth it for the side of Fnatic.
Definitely so. That's going to be one lane at least, shoving slightly in the way for Fnatic, and that does make it easier for them to split push a bit better. It gives them some space to, you know, shove out a lane, try to secure Roche, maybe even plant some deep wards as well and play around that area. So that's a nice little win for Fnatic. The game is still fairly even though, despite losing a significant chunk of map control for Mineski. Still 21-15, but a 1k net worth lead for Mineski. They still have a slight edge here.
Abed actually baits up Moon, and Moon jumps in. KP not really around the area right now. Both teams not really sure if they should go in or not, although it looks like Mineski just want to get started. They'll go straight onto DJ. They want this Rubik gone, though can Arjit get the job done? The Glimmer Cape will make it a lot harder, and here comes Abed with that Wukong's command. He starts hitting up on Arjit, who has really no remnants left here. He does get one off, and it looks like he is going to make a run for it, but that Boundless Strike. Meanwhile, the Black Hole, he only caught out jabs on that Winter Wyvern. I suppose that's something in the end, and it looks like they will clean him up, though at the bot, or the mid lane, there is still Moon trying to fight 4 people right now. He is going to move forward, but the rest of Fnatic aren't interested, and they'll let this go.
Yeah, that's a pretty big exchange going away with Fnatic, I have to say. Just trading away that Black Hole is, I would say, a big win for Fnatic. I think the one thing that Mineski does have is, you know, they pop that refresher, they do have another Black Hole ready to go, but they're not going to have the double anytime soon, and Abed's here.
Yeah, KP, Black Hole will be there, but where's the help? It's coming in. Raging Potato will stun him up, and KP, he gets out of there just in time, and Moon, can he deal the damage? A nice Manta dodge from Abed, and now they're going to turn this one around, though Ninja Boogie is behind him, trying to deal the damage, but he deals none. Moon will get the job done eventually, but now he needs to back the hell out of there. Ice, still trying to take Moon down, but he is rather tanky with all those refraction charges and the Crimson Guard. Looks like DJ now trying to run. Glimmer Cape, Meld will keep him alive, but no, it won't. Moon will find a double. Now Ice, Rolling Thunder doing a lot of work. He'll take down one in Raging Potato, though Moon will manage to blink out of there. KP, no Black Hole to be used. They'll leave Ninja Boogie alone to just die in peace.
A rather rough exchange coming out with both teams. I do believe that is a slight win for Mineski. They do manage to take out Abed again on that Monkey King. I'm not sure if he didn't expand a charge of his BKB yet. I think he did actually just shift that into his inventory. So that tool is up now for Abed. I'm not sure if he can pull the same thing off next time without, again, expending that Black Hole on one target. I think it really comes down to that. Where will you spend your Black Holes on? And that really means that all these team fights will be dictated by KP, just how successful these fights will go for Mineski. It hangs on the back of KP getting a good Black Hole going. He does have a Lincoln Sphere up now. That does make DJ's job on this Rubik much, much harder. It's going to be a harder time to steal that Black Hole. Of course, it's not too hard, considering that you still have that Aghanim's up in Rubik, which means, you know, it's a 2-second cooldown. on spell steal, which means you could basically use it to pop Lincolns anyway.
This is very true. Of course, DJ just picking up that Aghanim Scepter, so KP perhaps not really aware. Nevertheless, though, it does make it just a little bit harder, like you said. Just a little bit. Gives him a few more seconds of black hole time that he can just channel before he has to cancel it off. Now, this is a very close game. I mean, earlier on, like 20 or so minutes ago, it looked like it was just Fnatic's game, but Mineski really showing up with this draft and showing us how to do this. Just have to see if they can pull it off. I mean, they are still 1 melee racks behind. But if they get the right opportunity, game could just be theirs and they could force it to a game number 3. Looks like Fnatic are going to start just sticking as a team, making sure all their cores are protected. Potential smoke, in fact they will send one out. DJ was holding it. Roshan is available now as well, and Abed will scout that out for the team. But Mineski are in position ready to go in case a Roshan does get started. Looks like Fnatic are going to run up that top lane. Perhaps trying to find somebody there that's trying to defend, but Ajit is currently in the jungle farming. Not really interested in defending quite yet. They have actually sent the Eidolons, and here comes Ajit. This is what Fnatic were waiting for, and they get started. The lift is there. Rolling Thunder as well, although Raging Potato jumping in on DJ straight away. But Ajit has just melted. Meanwhile, DJ is still very healthy and just walking away from all this. MP with the Spirit Bear just rooting Raging Potato in place. Moon will get started. First target will be the Bear, but Fnatic look more than happy to walk away from this. They forced out the buyback from Ajit, and they do not want to get punished for staying around too long.
Yeah, massive kill going the way of Fnatic, just forcing out that buyback as well. It's a pretty darn big deal for Fnatic. That does mean the next time a team fight breaks out and Ajit dies, it's going to be very costly for Mineski. Again, it makes it very hard for them to defend or contest any sort of resource. They're going to go for Rosh now, but if they lose Ajit here, it's going to be really hard for them to defend.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, perhaps trying to force the right situation is what Mineski's up to right now. And in fact, they are looping around, trying to find Abed. Can they find anybody? Ninja Boogie in trouble right now. He will lose his life. Are they going to go for this team fight? Moon says, yes, we are. He goes in straight away, and Ajit is right after him. Though Winter's Curse will find Ajit. It's a lot of damage coming in, though the Crimson Guard keeping him alive, but the Boundless Strike is there. Meanwhile, the Black Hole, it's only onto one, and that is DJ. It has been refreshed. KP, he won't use it yet. He's got no mana for it, actually. Ninja Boogie trying to back out before he dies back. KP, though, not going to be so lucky, it seems. He probably will end up falling to Abed. And Ice cleaning up Ninja Boogie in the background. 2 diebacks there for the side of Mineski. 3 heroes going down in total. In fact, make that 4. Excuse me. There was a buyback coming up from Raging Potato as well, although he did survive. That is not great news for the Dire side.
Yeah, again, they don't have the Ember Spirit for the defense now. It's not going to be... They're not going to be able to contest this Roshan. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to hold that high ground long enough to at least stop melee racks from being taken on one of the lanes without their Ember Spirit, and they just surrendered to Roshan with a free refresher. So that was a potential 3 black hole. It's just not being possible now. One issue we do have with KP is that his mana pool is still a bit too low at this point in the game. Doesn't have quite enough stat padding items to really ensure that the 2 black holes will come out. I think he does have to replace that Midas at some point.
Moon actually finding jabs, but his mid tower is being taken. Now he will get started, but Abed will be there to protect the Spirit Bear, and here comes Ice. A Lucky Bash comes out as well. Moon cannot afford to die, but he does. He'll buy back immediately. Can they defend this, though? They just need to delay it long enough for the other heroes to be up and online again. And Fnatic aren't even going to give them the choice. They will back off to safety once again after taking that mid-rax.
Yeah, just a really clean kill coming out from Fnatic. 1 good bash, and you can just follow up and chain stun. Really unfortunate for Moon, but I feel like he does have to watch out for that. Like, he can't afford to be the guy playing poke. That really has to be Ajit's role, playing poke with a sleight of fist, clearing out waves. They can't afford to lose Moon again like that. He's a lot of their damage. He's a lot of control in these team fights, and the moment they lose him, it's very easy for Fnatic to clean up.
Mineski. See what the game plan is here. Currently, are running down mid. And we've seen this over and over again, that they have to be very wary to not get caught out in that mid lane. Looks like DJ will be the one actually holding the refresher shard, by the way. So Ice gave it away to him. So now you have 2 double black holes available from either side, assuming DJ can steal one. Now an Aghanim Scepter coming out from KP. Just buys it outright. I mean, that will give him the mana he needs to throw out the double black hole. Also, of course, that Midnight Pulse. It's a lot of damage in conjunction with the black hole, especially if you can find 2 of them. But that is the perfect circumstances we're talking about.
Absolutely. I think the one issue I do have with him buying out that Ags, he won't have buyback, Mike.
That is very true. About 1.1k gold away from buyback now, and I suppose he kind of feels like if he's not going to hit the black hole anyway, there's probably no point in the buyback. So, like, if he throws out the black hole and he just, you know, it doesn't do much and he dies, it's like, job's kind of done anyway. Perhaps that's the train of thought, or perhaps they think they can slow the game down long enough, but it looks like Fnatic are going to start moving their way into that aggressive position once again. Abed feeling very confident right now with that Aegis and Satanic. Bot lane is still being pushed in by Ninja Boogie, who can easily do this with the Nature's Prophet. Again, they are just going to try and delay this game as long as possible on the side of Mineski.
They are delaying quite well, but again, we're at 49 minutes now, 31 to 19, 12k net worth lead way of Fnatic. And this is probably the widest gap we've seen now. For a long time, again, it was fairly even. 1 or 2 team fights again, and that coil is sprung. Definitely all the way to Fnatic's side right now. Doesn't mean Mineski's out of the game. 12k net worth lead at 49 minutes is, what, 3 big items and on various cores, 1 item per core. That's not the biggest deficit in the world, considering that Mineski's also fairly well farmed. So, again, it's still anyone's game. It's just much easier for Fnatic to close it out at this point.
Fnatic did go for a smoke rotation down bot lane, trying to pick somebody off, but they didn't quite find Ninja Boogie. Show themselves at that bot rune spot now, and the bot lane, of course, and Mineski moving forward. Looks like they want to go for this. They will get started. Abed gets caught out. He jumped in. He's still healing up with the Satanic, and he may survive this. Moon is falling very low, and he's gone. Meanwhile, Black Hole is there. They've caught DJ this time around. KP, he has to throw out the secondary ASAP, though DJ has brought back Raging Potato, will roll away, and now Ninja Boogie has been the only one left. It looks like they have also found KP, actually. He will be KP and try to make a run for it, though Ice gets the bash off, and they are going to continue following him down. No buyback available for that Aghanim Scepter. Oh, in fact, no, he does.
Still has the second black hole.
He just got the buyback.
But he has the second black hole. Oh.
No, he just got it. It literally just ticked over. Still, Mineski do manage to hold on. Some nice calculations there from KP, John. I mean, it wasn't there when he died.
Tight.
Yeah.
That is terrifyingly tight. I think that those 2 kills got him that buyback. If he didn't get those kills, it would have been done.
Tier 3, though, falling very low, and it looks like there are going to be mega creeps on the way for Fnatic. They do have 1 Rax up top, but get that fairly fast as well. Ice. Again, the bash coming out onto Raging Potato. They are going to get started on the Pango, though, trying to take him down, but the Cold Embrace and Boundless Strike does come in. Now the Winter's Curse as well. It's pretty nice on Arjit. Can they do the damage? They're thinking about Fountain Diving right now. Rolling Thunder doing a lot of work, and Raging Potato does get caught out and does get taken down. Arjit was forced to use the BKB, and Ice manning up with that Cold Embrace. They're going to go straight after Arjit. He's got nowhere to go now, though the Black Hole was cancelled off once again. And that is rather unfortunate. It looks like Arjit and DJ comes in with his own Black Hole, and they call GG as soon as that happens. There's another Black Hole for you, John. Double Black Hole coming out from DJ. A fantastic game being played by Fnatic, and they will move on in the winner's bracket. Mineski, however, John, will have the pleasure of casting them again in our second series, where they will be up against Boom ID.
Yeah, it's been quite the series, this one. Both teams really playing their hearts out. Fnatic coming on top 2-0, and quite dominantly towards the end, I have to say. They kind of slowed down in the mid-game, but again, just one mistake, one team fight, it's all it takes to swing it to any team's direction, and Fnatic just takes that opportunity every time. Looking forward to the next games, Mike, and you know what? Hope it comes soon.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll try to give some updates on when the game will be arriving. We don't know the exact timing quite yet, but we assume it'll be pretty darn fast. Probably maximum 15-20 minutes, hopefully. Of course, it is MLP Dota and johnxfire. Consider following us on Twitter if you are enjoying the casting. We'll be right back with you guys in just a moment for hopefully another great series. Won't be too long.